being pursued by ruthless hunters armed with whips and guns, while navigating through dense forests, swamps, and secret tunnels, all in the dead of night. The price of getting caught? A brutal return to slavery or even death. But the reward? Freedom. Would you take the risk? The Underground Railroad wasn't a railroad, and it wasn't underground. It was a secret network of routes, safe houses, and courageous individuals who helped enslaved people escape to freedom. This wasn't just a movement. It was a full-blown resistance operation. But how did it work? And who were the heroes behind it? The Underground Railroad started taking shape in the late 1700s, gaining momentum in the early 19th century. As slavery spread across the South, so did the determination of abolitionists, both black and white, to defy it. The term Underground Railroad became popular in the 1830s, inspired by the secrecy and speed with which enslaved people vanished. Safe houses were known as stations. Those who led runaways were called conductors, and escaping slaves were passengers. One of the first large-scale escape networks was organized by the Quakers, who believed slavery was morally wrong. Soon, other groups joined the fight, from free black communities to white abolitionists. The Underground Railroad wasn't just an idea. It was built on the backs of real people who risked everything. Born into slavery, Harriet Tubman escaped in 1849, but she didn't stop there. She made at least 13 dangerous trips back into slave territory, leading over 70 people to freedom. Harriet Tubman was so good at evading capture that slave owners placed a $40,000 bounty on her head. Her motto: "I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." Frederick Douglass also played a crucial role. Before becoming a famous abolitionist, Douglass himself escaped slavery. His home in Rochester, New York, became a major stop on the railroad. Douglass later wrote, "The Underground Railroad was the last hope of the slave." William Still, a free black man in Philadelphia, documented the stories of hundreds of fugitive slaves. His records would later help reunite families after the Civil War. Escaping slavery wasn't just hard, it was deadly. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 made it legal for slave catchers to capture runaways even in free states. Many freedom seekers were caught and sent back, or worse. Conductors had to outsmart slave patrols, avoid bounty hunters, and survive treacherous landscapes. Some used disguises, like Henry Box Brown, who mailed himself to freedom in a wooden crate. Despite the risks, an estimated 100,000 enslaved people escaped using the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad didn't just help people escape, it helped change the moral fabric of America. It fueled tensions between the North and South, accelerating the nation toward the Civil War. Many of its leaders went on to shape the abolitionist movement, fighting for the end of slavery. Today, we remember the railroad as a symbol of courage, resistance, and the fight for human dignity. Would you have the courage to be a conductor on the Underground Railroad, or to escape and risk everything for freedom?